Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. I am Raw Zim and this is Ebon Sails Exalted. Season 1, Episode 27, a paralogue chapter. Tonight we had some things happen where players weren't able to attend, so instead we're going to do some story stuff. Also, the server was never switched over. Kerr?
Can you switch over now?
Well, probably doesn't matter because I don't think you're going to have us do rolls, but, you know.
Also
Either
fair.
way. Go ahead and start with intros, Kerr. Kerr? Are you muted?
I was muted my entire introduction. It was a good introduction.
Oh no.
Mm.
Sir, did you at least write
Alright.
down on paper?
Greetings, everyone. I am Kerr. I am the storyteller. I am the one who runs these wonderful games for all of my dear, dear players who I wish to strangle sometimes, and for you, my sweet viewers. I am here today to give you wonderful knowledge, information, and to watch my players Twitch, maybe. We'll see. Revenge is sweet.
Oh, right. I forgot to update the tip goal. But anyways, Guaco.
I am Toshime, and I'll be playing. I am Guaco Pelps, the Dragon Blood.
No, you're a solar.
Yes, I am a solar, but I play like I'm a Dragon Blood.
I am Zim, and I am playing Nevis, King of Conquerors. The Lunar Exalted.
I'm Sark and I'm an Inferno.
And then I guess that leaves me. I am Arzadeyu, and I play Zu, the Dragon-blooded Dragon King.
We're not going to do a recap this week just because we're not doing a proper session. We're just going to go ahead and turn it over to Kerr for the lore.
Alright. One moment you were before a great and powerful demon. One moment you were discussing what you should do before this third circle demon. You were attempting to figure out, to divine what you were meant to do. And then you heard the sound. The sound that even now, even to the exalted that you are, the powerful Eldritch abomination slaying heroes that you are, you heard one sound that could plunge fear even into Nevis's heart. Oh, hello, darlings! As your entire surroundings vanish in a rainbow of color with a very strong smell of salt. So
like to
delightful
stab
see
him.
you all. Your weapon is not there.
I'd like to claw him.
Your claws are not there.
dispensation.
I'd like to punch him.
Tokeme tipped $110.
Eat food that can be used for things. Like chicken stock can be used for gumbos too.
Also, Toshime, thank you so much for that tip. And completing the tip goal and supporting the channel. It means so very much, Toshime. As always, you are awesome, and we cannot do this without you.
Nevis,
Her?
you no longer have hands. Also,
Then
thank
I will-
you, Toshime.
I will beat him with my forearms.
You flail your forearms at him. Oh, darling, is this a new dance? I didn't know we were going to be dancing, darling.
Nevis.
Yeah, probably.
I kick him in the family jewels.
Nothing happens. He doesn't even seem to notice.
Nevis, if everything you've tried so far didn't work, what made you think that was going to?
And Nevis, you only have two arms, not four arms.
Well, I mean, I am immune to him trying to change my form, so I do still have my claws and hands.
I know, but you're not in that world anymore.
So this is a more spiritual world where we just are here.
Oh, darlings, I invited you. You see, darlings, you see, I find it to be woefully imperfect that you don't know a single thing about your own world, darlings. Honestly, it is so very frustrating to watch you go gallivanting across all of creation's great seas, and you not knowing the first thing about your history. Honestly, Nevis, King of Conquerors, have you ever opened a book before?
A few.
You know, I agree with Domino on this one. I don't really know shit about this whole place.
You see, darlings, you see. He sees sense. Obviously, he wishes to perfect himself and to get rid of this glaring imperfection he has. That's the part where you tell me that I am such a great person for doing this for all of you, and that you are so thankful for me spending my time to improve you and to bring you perfection.
Fine, Domino, carry on.
Yeah,
Clearly,
Domino,
we're
don't-
not
don't
going to
push
get
it
rid
off.
of you otherwise.
I agreed with you. Nothing more.
Right then, as he seems kind of flustered by that kind of response, like he wasn't really expecting it. He was expecting something more dramatic. He claps his hands as very soft couches, chairs, a buffet appear before all of you. And he settles down in a throne of salt and sits back. Please, darlings, take your seats, take your seats. Feel free to have snacks. I made sure to pack some specifically for you mortals.
Too salty. Actually, is this just a block of salt?
Yes, but it's flavored like fish.
Yeah, I don't taste the fish.
You're not eating it right, darling. You need to soak it in water first, then eat it.
Yeah, I'd rather just have Ferris make me something that's actually good.
Darling, this is absolutely perfect food here.
No,
Shark's
I
just gonna mosey
think
on over and just start eating.
I will pass. Thank you.
Honestly, darling, you don't know what you're missing. Oh, and don't think I don't see all of you out there, darlings. I am aware of all of you. And, well, I'm teaching you these four. I'm more than willing to teach all of you, darlings. Don't worry about that.
Who is Domino talking to? No, they're crazy, but
It's Domino. Are you really surprised that he's talking to somebody that's not actually here? Or apparently several somebodies?
There's a great audience watching your performance. Watching you as you strive and struggle against the very forces of creation arrayed against you. Also, one of them is creating cute little dogs. They are very adorable. One of them is waving at you right now.
I see. So they have all this power and yet do nothing to help us with all of this?
Domino looks away for a moment.
what knowledge can we gain from them?
Now, darlings, let's move on. Don't worry about that. Now, darlings, where do we begin? Let's see. Yes, darlings. This is what you would call the what's the word you mortals use? Ah, yes, the beginning. Yes, the start of something. You mortals have that so little. You're not just there. There's actually a point where you actually just are. Fascinating, honestly, darlings. But yes, the beginning. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Sure, by all means.
Begin.
Wonderful, darlings, wonderful. Now, tell me, what do you know of your beginning? What do you know of the beginning of creation?
I know quite a lot, but I'll let you go ahead and take it.
I'm gonna guess there was a very loud explosion.
Actually, no, there wasn't an explosion. I know, I was there. No explosions. There was once, though, a being riding across a field of flowers on the skeleton of some very large reptile. There was also music as well, I remember. It was very intriguing. I've yet to see it replicated yet.
Was there a big war with sapient frog people and Egyptian-looking motherfuckers that then turned into robots because they gave space farts bodies that then ate their souls?
No, wrong universe, darling. Wrong universe.
Wait, wrong universe. As in it happened. Okay.
Yes, it did happen once, believe me. Very, very frustrating beings, honestly. But, well, that's another story. Anyway, Valens, we have your story, your tale. The beginnings of creation. Let me tell you, when creation began, it was widely regarded to be a very large mistake by a great many people, myself included, darling. When creation came to be, made by the beings that you, as he points a finger at you, Sark, know as the Yozai, your bosses, as it were. They're the ones who made everything.
So I should thank them next time I see them.
Well, Maybe. It wasn't so cut and dry. The primordials, as they were called back then, darling, they were beings of focus, of only being one thing, where I, my darlings, in my perfection, can be whatever I desire to be. They were, well, one-trick ponies, as it were.
But they weren't ponies, they were primordials, you just said.
It's an expression, darling. They decided they wanted to make something, to create something unlike what already was. Our home was beautiful. It was perfect. It was an ever-changing, ever-flowing sea of potential. The Wyld was everything. But upon that perfection, they created what you know as creation. Your world. A world of stability. A world of stasis. A world where everything had its shape, had its form, had its function. It was an affront to us. We, the fair folk, the children of the Wyld, saw this blemish upon our sea of perfection, and we were kept out, unable to do anything about it. As the primordials went about creating, crafting, making things. And then they created Yushan, what you know as heaven. He looks over at Nevis and Guaco. I believe you two were there, weren't you?
Could be.
You guys have it. You guys did visit Yushan for a little bit.
Oh, right.
Yep,
Yes.
we did.
Was it? No, that's wrong before me.
Yes, it was before.
Tark was there.
So the fact we have Yuka at all is
Yes.
Yeah, that's where you found the person who had your title.
Yeah,
that
and then you kicked his
wanted
ass.
that wanted to claim to have his title. It wasn't so much that he kicked his ass as the little thing just gave up.
But
It was rather embarrassing.
when they were done, when the primordials finished their work, there were 3 worlds, you could say. You had Oz, the Wyld, the sea upon which the island of creation rested upon. You had creation, a stable place, something new, something interesting. It was about 10 times larger, though, than what you have now. Creation as it stands is only about 10% of what it used to be. And then above, well, I suppose above is using your mortal terms. It's actually more sideways and diagonal. Is Yusha, the realm of the gods. Originally, it was meant to be the home of the primordials to watch over their creations and to enjoy whatever they wish to do. That I don't really know much about, darlings. It's not really something that I was able to learn about. But I know what happened afterwards. For millennia, things continued as they were. Gods kept creation going. The primordials whiled away the days in their jade pleasure dome in Yushan, and we schemed, plotted, and enjoyed our little games in the wild. Until something happened. Something that threw everything out of whack, so to speak. The gods grew sick and tired of their enslavement to the primordials. Imagine, darlings, for a moment, that you worked the same job for the last 10,000 years. You never got a raise, never got a day off, never got any vacation, and you were still expected to do that job for another 10,000 years. How would you feel, darlings?
No. No, we don't want to work that job.
I mean, sounds pretty much like life is as is.
Well, the gods did not take it very well. They grew tired of it, but they were forbidden from raising their hands to the primordials. They were under a guise to never attempt to harm them. So they had to get creative. And oh, darlings, they did. As he smiles very widely at all of you. Your exaltations, darling, were their weapons, crafted from the essence of the most powerful deities. He points at Guaco, the unconquered sun. To Nevis, he points to you, Luna, goddess of the moon. To Zool, your power actually comes from a primordial, Gaia, mother of the earth, whose body was used to create creation, whose form gives it the stability necessary for life to flourish. And for you, Sark, he walks over and just reaches out and taps your forehead, and your cast mark glows on it for a moment. You have the Unconquered Sun's power as well, though you have a bit of spice, so to speak, with the Yozai's little touch. And he will waltz over and sit back down again. The Unconquered Sun and the others decided to release these exaltations into the world. For the Unconquered Sun, 300 solars came forth. From Luna, 300 lunars, tied to the solars through an ancient and powerful bond. From the 5 maidens of fate, who dictated what was, what is, and whatever shall be within the boundaries of creation, 100 chosen of the stars, the Sidereal Exalted, stepped forward. And from Gaia came 10,000 Dragonbloods, who quickly grew to over 1 million strong, ready to fight as soldiers in this great war, the Primordial War. Any questions so far, darlings?
No, I'm good.
No, carry on, by all means.
But where did the Imperial teachings come in?
He looks over at you, Guaco. 1, darling, those are complete lie and fabrication. 2, you're a solar darling, not a dragon blood.
The realm still runs on it.
He sighs a little bit.
And it's still the story of creation by most people's standards.
Yes, because you've been cast into a literal dark age around 3 times. Sorry about one of those, by the way, darling.
The
Yeah.
Empress protected.
We'll get into that, though. We'll get into that. Spoilers. He considers where to continue from there for a moment. The war, the Primordial War, is a fuzzy subject. I wasn't able to get much information on that, mostly because of weapons and such that were used during that time period. Very, very nasty, nasty weapons, the likes of which have never really seen the light of day since. Whether they exist anymore or not, I don't know. I hope they don't, because of how dangerous they are. But I do know what happened at the end of the war. The gods chosen succeeded in what was thought to be an impossible task. 3 of the primordials were outright slain. They were killed. Beings that should not have known death, beings that should have been impossible to kill, were killed. And as they fell, their memories of creation created another dark world around their bodies. And that is how your dear little underworld came to be. I believe you've had experiences with the dead, yes, as he looks at you, Nevis.
I needed to step away for a moment, sorry.
Ah, darling, you're killing me!
Wait, you can be killed?
Not easily, darling.
But Nevis is doing it so well. He said holding up a scroll as he writes stuff down.
Give me 1 second, I was just waiting for Nevis to come back.
Oh, just carry on. But
Okay.
yes, he has.
La la la, this is all lies and slander against the realm.
Darling, 1, you should know that I cannot lie. Everything that I am telling you is the truth. But, darlings, let us continue. Let us continue. The other primordials swore great oaths to the exalted hosts and to the gods that they would never again threaten creation, and they would be bound away, trapped within their king's body, and flung out into elsewhere. AKA, putting this in easier words than what Domino would actually say in character, they took all the other primordials, stuffed them inside of Malpheus, their king, turned Malpheus inside out, and then yeeted him into hammer space, where they are currently trapped and basically floating in.
Still confused.
What is your question?
I'm just confused by the wording.
No, legitimately, that is how it worked. Malpheus, the realm of the demons. Which, Sark, you go to Malpheus quite often. That's basically where you were trained and taught everything. It is the land and world of demons. It is also inside of Malpheus. His body literally makes up the entire demon city.
Can I go there regularly? Like,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
can I
like
go
I
there
told you.
No, you can't go there now.
Aw.
Nice try. The primordials existed differently than any other being, even gods. A primordial can exist in multiple places at once. Malpheus is the demon city. He is this great giant being that is basically a world in of itself. He's that large. Where literal cities are destroyed as two planes of flesh crash into each other. But he can also take the form of basically a human-sized, bronze-skinned man dancing through the streets, while also taking on another half-dozen forms throughout the demon world. All of the Yozai are able to exist as multiple things at the exact same time. Ceciline, the primordial who was originally in charge of the rules and laws of creation and now is the arbiter of law in the demon city, takes the form of a great desert that rings the edges of Malpheus. In order to enter or leave Malpheus, you have to travel for 5 days through the deserts. No matter what, it's always 5 days. As you learned, Sark, even though no time seems to pass in creation for you, it's always 5 days travel in or out. But she can also take on other forms as well. You have Kimberly, the Acid Sea. You have, let's see, you have Adorjan, the Killing Wind. You have beings that are so large and so vast and so alien to yourselves or to like beings like Domino. And these are the beings that used to run creation. These are the beings who built creation before they were turned into what they are now. And as Sark can say, they want out.
I mean, I would too.
Excuse me. Imagine from their point of view, to the primordials, you mortals are like ants to them. You were so small and so insignificant, they didn't even bother to geese your race like they did almost every other race. Because to them, all of you are nothing but prayer batteries. That's what your purpose was. That's why you were made. To be weak, defenseless, and pathetic, and to constantly pray for deliverance and help. And your prayers were basically the fuel for them. You raising your hand to them is as good as an ant attempting to attack a human being.
Ow.
Mm-hmm. And then the ants started winning. They did not take that well. And eventually they lost the war. And they were basically mutilated, cast out of the world that they built, and trapped in a prison. and all they want is to get out. They want out. Because to them, they were unfairly cast out. They did nothing wrong. They were attacked by their creations because their creations were tired of doing the jobs that they were made to do, literally. Some of them kind of want a little bit of revenge. Looks at Malpheus. Others just really don't give a shit anymore and just kind of want to get out just because, like, it really sucks being locked up. And right now, Sark, that's your job. Your job is to help them get out.
Fair.
You haven't been given too many jobs yet because, well, you're causing chaos in the West with just your actions right now. There's no big reason to push you to do something yet. But normally you get jobs from them. Go here, kill this person, deal with this thing. All to sow discord and to weaken the realm, as well as the forces of basically anyone who could stop them.
I mean, with my aptitude towards murder, I think, considering I've already murdered quite a few people.
Oh yeah, you probably would have been used to kill people.
I've already done that, so
Oh look, there's actually a competent dragon blood doing things that could actually get things done. Sark, please take care of him for us.
I want belly rubs.
You would get belly rubs.
Okay.
You would be waited on like a sultan in the demon world. When you are in the demon world, you are basically treated like the emperor of mankind.
I want snacks too.
You also can have snacks.
You just can't know her name.
We don't
Yeah.
talk about anything like that. There is no person that you need to worry about. The Empress did not have a daughter.
Joke's on you. I don't know what any of that means.
So, we don't know if it's canon or not yet for 3rd edition. My guess is they're going to get it the fuck out of here because it was one of the... Guaco, how would you put it? One of the darkest aspects of 2nd edition?
The retcon books of Malpheus.
So, in the Infernal book for 2nd edition, the way the Yozai keep control of your exaltation so it doesn't run away when you die to make sure they can keep using it over and over again is there's basically an umbilical cord tied into the exaltation. When you die, the cord snaps and pulls it back. Where the cord's tied to is a little girl who is so large and obese that she can't even get up or move at all.
So kill the little girl.
Oh no, she's still aware, and she is still sentient, and she is weighted on hand and foot by demons.
So kill the little girl.
You could try.
Yeah, you could try. She has over 100. She has 150. She has I believe 100 exaltations. Theos I got.
I am so sorry for that. I am back.
Welcome back.
So kill the little girl.
Yeah, all 100 exaltations are tied into her, and according to lore, She is one of the daughters of the Empress.
And if you try to attack her, the chain around your neck will pull you back.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, every demon in Malpheus will try to kill you. She is considered like the treasure of the Yozai. You don't get anywhere near her
And
unless
she,
it's during.
what I meant by that isn't that, but I meant she who lives in her name. If you know her name, any of her names, then you're controlled by her.
Oh, Swilla.
Mhm.
Yes. She who lives in her name is one of the primordials. She's one of the most powerful ones. But
Because
yeah,
she
no.
was the god, she was the ruler of rules.
Yes. She's the one who set everything up, who dictated what was and what was not. But yeah, no, we don't know if that aspect is actually going to make it into third edition because, oh god, when it happened in second edition, the blowback was very, very fierce. The Infernal book is widely regarded as the worst book ever written for Exalted canon. Half of it is like, yeah, this is okay. Half of it is like, what the fuck were they on when they wrote this?
And the art. Bleh.
Oh god.
The answer is drugs.
We actually have artwork of the daughter and what she looks like. They included it in the comics. It is not nice. But going back into it, once the Primordial War ended, the first stage started. The first stage was a world of beauty, of wonder, of majesty. It was an age of creation, innovation, and a golden age among golden ages. Zool, this was both. This was the time where your people started to fall off a little bit, though. This is the time period that really kind of hit your people really, really hard.
Because with the Exalts taking power away from the Exalted Sun's worshippers.
Oh.
Yep. Originally, before the Primordial War happened, the Unconquered Sun took the form of a Dragon King, of a Raptok, usually. And
Oh.
that once he chose the Exalted as the humans as his chosen, he took on the form of a human, and he's had that form ever since. Back beforehand, before the Primordial War started, humans were basically slaves and sacrifices to the Dragon Kings. That's what they were used for. The Dragon Kings were the number one race of creation.
Primordial Sun. It was the Primordial Sun, right?
Unconquered Sun.
Unconquered Sun. Okay, that's to write down.
And of course, the Dragon King sided with the Unconquered Sun when they were asked to fight on the gods' side against the primordials and their races that they crafted to fight for them. And the primordials were very effective at killing Dragon Kings. And unlike normal death, which, well, isn't that big of a deal for Dragon Kings, the primordials knew how to destroy the souls of the Dragon Kings and prevent reincarnation. And they did this by the millions during the Primordial War. It was a blow that the Dragon Kings never really recovered from. Going into the first stage, the Dragon Kings were basically kept as advisors or assistants or kind of just doing their own thing. Of course, they had their own capitals, they had their own cities and such. But as time went on, they began to get more relegated to just like either basic functions or just kind of pushed off to the side to just do like basic maintenance and other things that the Exalted basically couldn't bother doing themselves. You guys were basically glorified servants by the end of the first age. Those of you that at least that had survived.
So that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of infuriates me.
The Dragon Kings tried their best to try to get back into the Solar's good graces, but, well, at that point, humankind still kind of remembered the fact that Dragon Kings kept them as slaves and, you know, tearing out their hearts and all that stuff.
Sacrifices
Hey, baby.
and food.
Yes, nom noms. Humans made very tasty nom noms.
Just worship the unconquered sun.
Even if they did, they still were killed.
They'll be
Because,
fine.
as everybody saw, the humans were just prayer batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Jaffer's here.
Hello.
Hey, Jaffer.
Yes.
Don't forget to
Jaffer
update
on
your
a plate.
icon, please.
That's what love is. Tearing someone's heart out on the first date.
What is love? Baby, don't
Baby,
hurt
don't
me. I'm
hurt
gonna take
me.
out your heart. Oh, okay.
But during the first stage, that's also when a Touchthon decided to GTFO, and he took like millions of people and then left, and no one was really sure where exactly he went. He basically went off into hammer space.
Who's a Toshon again?
He was one of the two primordials that sided with the gods. He is the primordial of machines and technology. As Exalted fans like to call him, Optimus Prime.
Okay.
Also, they also call him Cybertron too. But going back into it, during the first stage, the Exalted ruled over everything. They were given the mandate of creation, while the gods rose up to take over Yushan and to basically keep that as their home and such. The Exalted were given the rulership of creation, and for example, the Solars were called the stewards of the earth. And for a while, things were good. Things were really, really, really good.
Until they weren't.
Until they weren't. You had issues start popping up. Solars who started to do things. Nasty things. Jaffer, right now we're doing a paralogue chapter, so this is mostly just a little role playing and you guys getting story and such. Oh, you're good. You couldn't have known. It's okay. Like, it's all good. Solars began to go crazier and crazier and crazier. They started to do really nasty shit to people just because they could, or because someone upset them. They would literally destroy an entire city just because a single person in that city had done something to annoy them. Like, that's the level of pettiness we're talking about here. It got to the point where the solars were using so much essence that they were literally fraying the fabric of reality and causing damage to the Loom of Fate, a great artifact in Yushan that literally weaves fate and destiny together and basically creates a tapestry of creation, of fate itself. They were making holes in it because of all the essence they were using and disrupting it. And the Sidereals, the Guardians of Fate, went to the Solars and went, so, hey, you guys are using so much essence here that you're actually breaking reality. Could you maybe, tone it back a little bit? Could you maybe not spend so much essence? We're really seeing a lot of distortions. It's causing a lot of problems. Could you do this solid, please? And when the Solars heard this, they decided, hey, you know what? We're spending so much essence, we're really damaging creation. Now, what would happen if we doubled that essence output?
We can do better.
Note, the Sidereals were not amused by this.
Sounds like those solars were just rude people.
Anathema.
That was all of them at the time.
Jaffa says,
Hey.
destroy creation the speedrun.
That's what it felt like it was going to. Solars were launching wars against each other because of, like, a petty reason. Assassinations were common. It was not complete chaos, but it was very much not good, to the point where the Unconquered Sun himself turned his face from creation and from his chosen and basically all but abandoned them because of what they were doing. He was so disgusted by his own chosen that he proceeded to turn away from them. And towards the end of the first stage, the Sidereals began to try to figure out what they should do next. The Solars obviously were going nuts. The Lunars couldn't really do much to mitigate it due to the bond they shared with the Solars. They didn't have a choice in what they were doing. They were forced to obey. And they decided they needed to do something. So they did. One moment.
And thus they said, sit boy.
They conducted a great ritual where every Sidereal came to attempt to divine the Loom of Fate and to try to figure out what the future was, what it held, and what was going to happen. And they didn't get one answer. They got 3. One was the vision of darkness. The vision of a world destroyed. Of a world that was just gone. Nothing but void, emptiness, and oblivion. Another vision, the vision of bronze. Creation alive. It is not necessarily thriving, but surviving. It is doing well, but it is forever diminished from what it once was. All of the miracles that were common today are nothing but fanciful notions in the vision of bronze. But creation remains strong, and its people remain to continue their lives far into the future. And then you have the hardest one for them to see. This one took almost 50 years for them to fully figure out, to fully divine all of the pieces that were here. And that was the vision of gold, where the sidereals came to the solars. They were able to work with them, talk with them, and convince them that something was wrong and that they needed to fix it. And the solars were able to repair whatever was causing all of these issues. They were able to fix themselves, so to speak. And a golden age came across creation even greater than what already existed. A golden age among golden ages, even compared to the first age. But how to get there, what they needed to do, that is what eluded them with the vision of gold. It was not a clear-cut process, not like the vision of bronze was. The vision of gold was more just a hodgepodge of visions put together to show them what could possibly be. All of them could agree that the vision of darkness could not be allowed to happen. That was just... What? Go ahead.
And with your help, we can make the vision of darkness happen again.
Sounds bad. No, thank you.
They all agreed the vision of darkness could not be allowed to happen. Just straight up, full stop. All 100 of them agree on that. However, they did disagree on what to do with the other visions. The vision of bronze and the vision of gold. And this led to the sidereals to divide themselves. Almost down the middle. Some sidereals joined what would be known as the Bronze faction. The sidereals who supported the vision of bronze, that creation would need to be diminished in order to save it. And they were willing to do whatever it took in order to protect creation, regardless of the sacrifices that had to be made for it. Then you had the vision of gold, those who had hope for the future, who believed that by working together, they could do the impossible and save not just the solars, but all of creation, and bring about a glorious new age of basically peace and prosperity. For a while, this was just debates. The two sides trying to argue with each other, trying to convince the other that their way was right. And then, when things started to get worse and worse and worse, the Vision of Bronze decided that something needed to be done, that they couldn't wait anymore. And they struck first. They killed all of the leadership for the Gold faction and sent it into chaos. And when that happened, they also had been planning with the Dragon Bloods to betray the Solars. During the calibration feast at the end of the year, during the 5 days of darkness at the last week of creation, basically. It's the one time you can summon third circle demons, so solars are kept entertained at a great never-ending feast that goes on for 5 days. And during that calibration feast, when the celebration was going on, the sidereals, along with the dragon bloods, and millions upon millions of mortal soldiers turned on the solars and struck. Half of the solars were killed during the usurpation feast. That is what is known as the usurpation. Half of the solars were killed. They did not go gently into that good night, though. The only reason that they succeeded as well as they did is because they caught the solars completely unaware. And the solars were without their panoplies, they were without their artifact armors, their artifact weapons, any of their normal magical items that they may have carried on themselves. For the most part, many of them did not have that with them anymore. It was kept at their homes, at their manses, at their workshops. Why would they need it at a place like this? It would be considered basically a huge faux pas to come in your armor and gear. And the sidereals and the Dragonbloods took advantage of that. They struck simultaneously and were able to take down many solars in that opening exchange. But even unarmored, even unarmed, for every one solar that fell, thousands and thousands of mortal soldiers fell with them. They did not go gently into that good night. And for every one solar that they killed, another one got away. And the Lunars were furious. The Lunars value friendship. They value trust. They value the unity. And suddenly, out of nowhere, the sidereals and the Dragonbloods just betray all of that and start killing the solars, and any of them that didn't toe the line and back off. No, that ain't happening. So the Lunars began their own guerrilla warfare against the realm. Well, not yet, sorry. Against the Dragonbloods and the sidereals, fighting back against them wherever they could. And I believe the usurpation lasted around 50 years, I want to say. Altogether.
Yeah, that's right.
And during that time was, if you thought the Primordial War was bad, this one was even worse. Almost. Creation was absolutely devastated. Because once the usurpation feast failed to kill all the solars, the solars realized they were in for the fight of their lives. They realized what was going on. And they started arming themselves for war. The problem is, solars fighting together is like herding cats at that point. They couldn't work together. It was basically every man for themselves. The thing is, every single one of these men and women were basically unstoppable demigods at that point. There's the story of one solar who almost made it to the gates. No, he almost made it actually into the Jade Pleasure Dome to tell the Unconquered Sun what was going on in person. Outside of the Jade Pleasure Dome, I believe it was over 1 million soldiers, couple hundred Dragonbloods, and 8 sidereal Grand Masters, the strongest sidereals at that point, like the personal soldiers of the leader of the Bronze faction himself. 8 of them, a couple hundred Dragonbloods, and 1 million soldiers came against that one solar. That solar killed all 8 sidereal Grandmasters, killed almost every Dragonblood, and slaughtered over 2/3 of the mortal soldiers before he eventually died from his wounds that he got. and the entire battle took almost a week. It was that was the level of power of what the Sidereal or what the Solars could do when they were pushed into it. Even now, the place where the Solar fell is actually maintained and is considered to be his grave in Yushan. And it is still well taken care of and well maintained to this day by some of the gods. Because they were not happy about this. They were not happy at all. Because even with what happened during the usurpation, the Solars that were killed, well, if you kill a Solar, the exaltation, the thing that gives them their power, will just leave their body and go find someone else to give power to. So if you kill a Solar, you're just going to get another one basically almost instantly later. So what to do about that?
It will still have. It'll eventually get memories of who killed it.
Mm-hmm. So the Sidereals decided that they needed to deal with that. So they went after Lytek, the god of exaltations. And in his own workshop, where he basically maintained, cleaned the essences, and then sent them back into the world, they attacked him. They bound him up inside of his own workshop, and they proceeded to every solar exaltation that came back, they captured and trapped within a great jade prison. Heaven was furious. It was one thing for mortals to kill mortals. Even the exalted are still considered to be like demigods at best. They aren't officially part of heaven's structures or any of the gods' rules or bureaucracy and such, except for the Sidereals. But even then, the Sidereals are kind of exempt, kind of a little bit. It's complicated with them. But the others are not covered by that. They aren't gods, despite their level of power. But here was the Sidereals attacking and assaulting a very high-ranking god. Lytek was basically one of the very top gods at that point. And they just attacked him out of nowhere, bound him up, wrecked his workshop, and stole what was basically his purview from him. The other gods were furious. Even those that sided with the Bronze faction and thought what they were doing was right, they were furious that they would go this far. That they would attack one of basically one of the princes of heaven, basically.
This is the guy who gave them the freedom from their old jobs.
Yes. Lytek was very well regarded. Even the gods that support the Bronze faction liked Lytek. He was a very likable god. He was always very nice, even with mortals and stuff. He was very, very impressionable. He got along well with everyone. The worst you would usually have to deal with as a exalted when you met him is he might poke and prod at you a little bit, asking you how your exaltation was doing, because he takes such pride in it. All of the exalted were like his children to him, and he loved watching what they did. And heaven was ready to basically go after the Sidereals for what they did. They were going to basically wreck them. So the Sidereals decided to do something about that. In the sky of creation and also the sky of Yushan are constellations. These constellations hold actual power, though. And the Sidereals use these constellations to create effects and special abilities called astrology. What they did is they took one of the constellations, known as the Mask. The Mask is in charge of secrets and hidden things, is its purview. They took the mask and they broke it. When they did that, what was common knowledge became hidden, and what was secret became plain. Millions of people went batshit fucking crazy as dark, evil secrets that were kept in the darkness of creation were suddenly common knowledge across the world. And people's minds were not ready for that. It got so bad that the Maiden of Secrets herself, one of the 5 Banes of Fate, who are the Sidereal's bosses and the ones who gave them their power, had to come out personally to fix the damage and to keep basically every mortal from dying from what they did. But it worked. What they did worked. There was no knowledge at all that they were involved with usurpation or that they attacked Lytek. Everyone knew that they attacked Lytek. Everyone knew what they did. But there was no proof. And without proof, heaven's bureaucracies were tied. So all the gods know what they did, but they couldn't do anything about it. And finally, the usurpation ended. All but like 10 or 15 of the Solars were killed, and the remaining ones were hunted down. And every time that they were killed and reincarnated, they would be hunted down again and killed over and over again so that they could not come back into their power. And in their place, the Dragonbloods were risen up as the champions of creation. And the Sidereal slipped back into the shadows to rule from behind the scenes and to give advice to the Dragonbloods. And so marks the passage from the first age into the second age, the age that you guys currently inhabit right now.
That was a lot.
Oh, there's even more, technically. That was just the first stage. That was like 500-600 years ago.
Ah. I can barely wrap my head around all this.
Creation is
Encore!
beautiful.
Encore!
Any questions?
Many, but unable to ask.
Oh, go
So-
on.
So my bosses got screwed over.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that kind of a... Is that a pretty
Yes.
good sum of that?
That's basically, yeah, your bosses got screwed over. And then your previous incarnation also got screwed over, betrayed, and murdered.
Then I guess I've got that in common with my exaltation.
The Lunars had to retreat into the Wyld to survive. But the issue with going into the Wyld is it started to mutate them. It started to change them into beasts, into monsters. In order to keep themselves stable and to keep themselves sane, they had to get some help from Luna, who gave onto them the secrets of the tattoos using special moon silver prepared, they were able to create tattoos that, when put onto a person, would stabilize their shape and basically make it so that they could not be warped or changed against their will. Those are the tattoos that Nevis has on him.
Yep.
But basically, since the fall of the first age, the Lunars have been staging basically a guerrilla war against the Dragon Bloods, trying to basically break their shit whenever they could. But now, here in the second age, things have gone from bad to fucking worse, if that was possible. There were two very, very large events in recent history that nearly ended all of creation. The first was known as the Great Contagion, a great disease that swept through creation. And it didn't just affect humans, it affected every single living thing. And it killed 9 out of 10 things that it infected. Even with the Exalted's magic. Solar or Lunars or Dragon Bloods, any of them, didn't do anything. It could not stop the Great Contagion. And it just swept through, killing everything that it came across. Every 9 out of 10 living things died. And it got to the point where whole cities just died. And they didn't even rot, because the microbes that would do the decomposing, they died as well. So you would just literally have a city full of bodies, and it would be like the very air itself was stilled and dead. And right at the tail end of the Great Contagion came what is known as the Balorian Crusade, where the fair folk actually joined up together to lead a great crusade into creation, to unmake it, to unweave everything, and to return it into a sea of chaos, madness, and potential. And as they rode forth, creation's remaining defenders, few as they were, threw themselves into the defense of creation. 9/10 of creation was erased. Only 10% of creation still survives today. Even though to us, the map is quite large that we have of creation, it is nothing compared to what it used to be. Excuse me. Everything that was tried to stop the Fairfolk army failed. They fought tooth and nail, and they died. But no matter what they tried, they just couldn't halt the advance. They couldn't stop these creatures from beyond creation from storming into it and unmaking everything they came across. Not with what just literally happened. The Great Contagion literally ended right when the Balorian Crusade started. There was no in-between time to recover. And it seemed like that was going to be it for creation. It seemed like that was going to be the end. Until one no-name officer in the Dragonblood army, her and her circle went into the Imperial Manse, the giant mountain in the center of creation, the greatest manse in creation. No one knows exactly what happened there. No one knows exactly what happened to her circle mates. But what is known is that out of her entire circle, she is the only one who made it through all of the traps, all of the roadblocks. And she alone, within the Imperial Manse, activated what is known as the Realm Defense System.
Well,
The Realm
you would
Defense
know
Grid.
that that wouldn't be such a good story.
The Realm Defense Grid is basically like the Death Star. It could target any point in creation and then basically fires a giant laser that tactically nukes that area. And she fired the Realm Defense Grid at the army of fair folk and basically vaporized them. She unmade them with the beam. And it was strong enough that it drove all of the fair folk back and out of creation. They fell apart and went back to sort of their little wars and spats with each other. And creation survived, diminished, lessened, but it made it through. And that officer went on to become the being known as Her Redness, the Scarlet Empress, leader of the Dragonbloods. And technically also like Guaco's like great aunt.
Mm-hmm.
Because as they say, every Dragonblood is related to the Empress. But basically since then, now we're moving into like modern day. The Empire basically in name controls all of creation, but the edges, like where you guys are at, not so much. You have like maybe a token force, but really it's not that much, not compared to like the realm itself. But for the last 5 years, the Empress has been missing. No one knows where the Empress is. And right now, the realm was made to survive her being gone for a while. She's been known to disappear for a year or two, to go do things or to go undercover among her people. But no one knows where she is right now. And things are starting to get jammed up and screwed up without her being here to actually lead. And the 12 houses of Dragonbloods are basically looking at each other going, should we go Game of Thrones on each other? The only reason they haven't, though, is because they're terrified of being the one sitting in the chair when the Empress comes back.
It's happened before, and that person, when the Empress got back, didn't last too long.
Yeah, neither did the rest of their house either. So, yeah, the Empress is very much a being to be feared by Dragonbloods. And they very much, they want to power. They want to rule over the Empire. But no one wants to be caught in the chair in case her redness does come back. But because everyone right now is plotting for a possible civil war, everyone's trying to marshal their forces and their soldiers at the Imperial Island, which is the central island in the world, rather than, doing things like hunting down anathema. Which is why you guys are all still alive. Looks at Nevis and his army.
Nevis, king of conquerors, will win all battles.
Until you don't.
Needless to say, you haven't faced the full realm, the full might of the realm. Mostly because you've never gone to the actual realm. Because that's where their actual armies and their strongest soldiers are. Because none of them want to be caught right in case the war starts.
Well, at least around here, the naval force.
Yes. An actual army of Dragonbloods could actually give your army a run for its money. Like, it would actually be a dangerous battle for you, Nevis.
Did I stutter?
This is fair. This is
Let's-
fair.
Listen, Nevis, if you wanna, roll the dice on that, that's fine.
But yes, that's basically where we're at now. That is everything shorthanded. And that is where you guys come in for dealing with, well, what's going to be coming. Don't worry, I'm sure you guys will be able to deal with it.
Now, we also need to look into a cure for me. Now that we know about it.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way to fix you thinking you're a dragon blood.
I am a Pelps. I am a Dragonblood.
I think percussive maintenance is what we need. Bonk.
Wrong character.
The bonk life. Yes, any questions from anyone?
So, like, as long as I'm helping to sow chaos and, like, make shit happen, what was it?
You
The
have
Yozai, the Yozai will help me do that.
Mm-hmm.
They have your favor.
Yep.
Pog. So, like, if I came up with an idea to do it on, like, a massive scale, they'd be totally all for it.
What do you need?
Fair enough.
What do you need, and do we have the means of being able to give this to you? Because, yes, they would love to be able to help you with that. That is exactly what they want.
Then the chaos. Oh no, Mahosuchi got shot. And his entire armies have been destroyed. Oh, who could have predicted it?
If you actually think you could shoot Mahasuchi, go ahead.
Yes. Any other questions?
I mean, I this is like the 7th or 8th time that I've heard this stuff, so
I
I've
know.
kind of gotten all the questions out.
Any questions from chat?
Yes. I can also answer chat's questions too. I am, of course, aware of all of you darlings.
Hey there, Glass Patron. Tonight we were doing a lore dump for the campaign setting for Exalted.
I feel like the person that would have benefited from this the most isn't here.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I will make sure he watches the recording.
Hmm.
So now what?
Yes, darlings, yes. I believe that's all I really have for you right now. Unfortunately, our time here may be at an end. But why not, darlings? Why not? I have something to give to you all. And Domino will snap his fingers as a glowing little gemstone appears before each and every one of you. A gift, darlings. A gift. For you spending time with me and listening to my tales for you. I promise you, darlings, that when you need it, these gemstones will give you quite the gift.
What manner of gift?
Nevis,
Something,
don't punch a gift horse in the mouth. Just take it.
something useful. Something that could save your life, darling.
Zark, in order for me to use this gift, I kind of need to know what it would do in order to know the opportune time to use it. I am accepting it. And we've lost Arzy.
Just wait till you're next in trouble and
Jaffa
things
says,
are bad, and
when
then
that
use
gift horse is Domino, always question it. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Oh, darlings. You make me feel so special. Yes. Any other questions at all?
I need to go talk to the Yozai.
Then that is something that you can do, yes. Oh, yes, darlings, that does remind me. There's one more thing I should let you know before I send you back.
What would that be?
He looks at you, Guaco. Your lunar husband is on the way, darling. I do hope that you will be able to greet him properly. I hear Leviathan has been ever so lonely without you.
Oh, crap.
Ta-ta, darling! As you all vanish and appear before the demon, as though no time had passed at all.
All right.
So who here knows what Leviathan is?
No idea.
Kerr filled
Although I
me
do
in.
need to go for a walk.
The dog needs to go for a walk?
I mean, that's my exercise time, so yeah. Not falling for the bait.
What do you think Leviathan is?
Probably a big fish.
I mean, he's not necessarily wrong.
A lunar.
Yes. A very, very big lunar. A very, very big, scary lunar. But don't worry. He's here
one
to
that
make
can
friends.
One that can give Nevis a run for his money.
He'll be fine.
For old sad boy.
He does need hugs.
I'm a BRB.
Yep.
But yeah, that's basically everything I have for right now.
Alrighty.
Sorry for the shorter session this today, but we also already lost 2 players now.
Oh, you're fine. It was also a lot of stuff, so, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you, everybody, for joining us today for Ebon Sails Exalted. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Patreon, and more there on the website, as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, tippers, and subscribers. It is because of your support that I'm able to continue bringing these streams to you all. I really cannot do this without your guys' help and support, so thank you. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It is one of the best ways to support the channel, though you can also do so by simply sharing the stream around. But for now, thank you all so much for joining. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, and I bid you the most fondest adieu.
Bye.